What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody had an excellent week. It's been a long week for me, man, because that loss to the Vikings just stings. You just fear that it's going to come back to haunt the Jets at some point because the playoff standings are so close, and you're finding yourself now where you're going to be facing a lot of must-win situations against very good teams. You know, Sunday's game versus the Bills is pivotal if you want to stay in the hunt for the division, but also for the playoffs too, man. Tiebreakers, a lot of times going to be conference records. So, big game. I know the Jets are big underdogs, which rightfully so. I mean, the Bills still remain one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm not one of these Jet fans just because we beat them a few weeks ago to be overconfident, like, oh, we have their number or this and that. The Bills are good, man. They've won, 3 in a row. They're rested. They're at home in front of an incredible crowd. So this is no easy task whatsoever. Add in the fact of rain, of the weather. It could be rain, could be snow, could be windy. Yes, Mike White played very well in the rain, but this is a whole different environment here. So you go into the game, the Bills' offense is obviously built around Josh Allen. Now, I think as of this video, Deion Dawkins at left tackle is questionable. When he didn't play, their left tackle was terrible, but I'm assuming now he's playing. But it's all about Josh Allen, man. He hasn't had that huge monster season that everybody expected, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks in football. He has a propensity to generate more turnovers or have more turnovers this year than usual, but still very good quarterback who is ridiculously dangerous with his legs. That is a big factor in this game, I think, especially if the weather is going to be, difficult, whereas you got to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get, continuously get yards with his legs. How the Jets handle that, whether they have, they assign a spy, whether it's Quan Alexander or Quincy Williams, or they had Jordan Whitehead in the box, you got to figure out a way to contain Josh Allen and keep him in the pocket. Also, you worry about, Singletary and Cook, but it's all about Josh Allen, man. So, also, last time Jets got pressure, you got to get sacks, try to force them into bad throws. Hopefully, just try to force fumbles. In terms of the passing game, obviously everybody wants to talk about Sauce Gardner and Diggs, but last time Reed was on Diggs, Sauce Gardner was on Gabe Davis. But you also got to keep an eye on McKenzie too, who had a lot of big plays last week. So they have obviously they can have a potentially dynamic passing offense. But that's where the Jets defense, you kind of have some confidence where they have the pass rush. They have corners you feel comfortable with where they can press and get after it. So for me, it's just don't have any huge blown assignments. And most importantly, clean up the tackling too, man. The tackling has been kind of suspect the last couple of games. And you can't afford any of these players to get open, get off in yards after the catch. Obviously, I think I said the last video, I love Diggs, man. So seeing him, you don't want him to start getting that instant energy in the offense by 2 or 3 catches in a row and opening things up. On offense, obviously, it's the Mike White game. Everybody wants to talk about his last game last year where he fell apart against the Bills. This is a much different team in terms of just offense, defense, and quarterback. I think Mike White has learned a lot since then. He spreads the ball around, but it's just he's going to be facing a very difficult environment. I think most importantly, the Jets have got to establish the running game. I think in the last couple of weeks, they were trying to pass to set up the run, but you got to get it going. Michael Carter's back. Zonovan Knight is kind of the X factor here because he's been so friggin' explosive. Once he gets through the line of scrimmage, he takes off, he drags defenders. I think you see a big dose of him. Hopefully, they try to feature the running game, and you have George Fant back, which is big, and prayers to Max Mitchell too, who's going to be out for the year with the blood clots. But George Fant coming back is big. So if you go back to the ground to pound approach, establish it. You'll get Zonovan Knight established, Michael Carter, maybe Ty Johnson. I don't expect to see James Robinson. I've been wrong a million times before, but you'll get that running game going. Also, I think the Bills are going to key on Garrett Wilson. I think a good, as of now, Matt Milano is questionable. I would attack the linebackers, man, with our own tight ends. Get Uzama involved, get Conklin involved. You don't have to always force the ball to Garrett Wilson. You could try to use some matchups that we haven't really taken advantage of. Obviously, if you can get Elijah more involved, be more involved, right? But spread it around. And everybody always wants to say Mike White has to use that quick passing game. Yes, I also think that you got to go vertical sometimes too. Now the weather could prevent that, but you don't want to get in that tendency where they can start jumping your routes, where they know everything is quick, it's short, and that's where your pick sixes are going to happen. So maybe you want to incorporate some pump fakes. He does play action very well, but you got to watch these defenses getting more aggressive now that they have some tape on them. So in terms of the game, man, I think this is a tough spot for the Jets. Obviously, as a fan, you want to see them win it. I don't know if they're going to or not. I don't think Mike White will be overwhelmed. I think they'll keep everything even keeled. I have this feeling that the offense can be a little conservative after all the criticism they got last week for all the throwing. I think White had 57 throws. In terms of a score prediction, I think the Jets come up short. I think they'll probably cover the spread. I think they lose something like 28-21 or 28-20, something like that. And it's just, it's a tough spot for them, man. They're playing a very good team on the road. I think the Bills are just a better team. I'd like to be wrong. Also, I was listening to some comments today. You would say, well, if Mike White loses this game, you got to bench him the following game. And I'll continue to say, no matter what happens this game, unless he throws like 6 interceptions, he continues to play. Like right now, he gives you the best chance to win. You're not going to be flip-flopping around. This team has literally rallied around him. You could tell they obviously like him. There's a lot of chemistry. I mean, yesterday you saw Michael Carter and Elijah Moore asking questions at his press conference. You see all these things. They're wearing his shirts. Like, he's the guy. So just embrace it. I don't think it's a week-to-week thing with the quarterback, as much as Sal is saying so. This is Mike White's team through this playoff run here. So a meaningful game in December. I'm excited. I can't wait for it. I think the Jets come up short. I would love to see them win this, but I just don't think they're going to. So let me share in your comments what you think your score prediction will be. I'll talk to you later.